Hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. Colin and I are here for the P3 tier. We've got some driver changes, and we have got to go around 32 laps or 31 laps, sorry, Cole, of Singapore.
Well, this is a tricky race. Just to let everyone know, I did a practice session hour and a half ago with a lot of people, and I DNF'd. I actually hit the inside wall going over the bridge at the end of Sector 2. So it just proves how easy it is to lose your front wing, or even worse, get a DNF. So this is going to be a race of attrition tonight, I think.
It definitely is. It's the longest race on the Formula One calendar, and it's, although there are some straights, Colin, it is demanding. Your concentration levels here for me are probably the highest, perhaps other than Monaco, but the highest ultimately over the course of the season, and particularly in season 27.
Absolutely. I think it's the most demanding track mentally on the whole circuit. I'd actually include Monaco into that. I think because this circuit, you are approaching some corners at a lot higher speed, and so mistakes can be more crucial regarding hitting the wall almost. And of course, it is our longest race this season as well. So the drivers are going to be in their seats for quite some time.
Yes, obviously our second street track in succession, where we get a chance to do One Hub Racing. We try and follow the Formula One calendar as much as possible, just because it builds the anticipation and the excitement up ahead of the race. Obviously, you and J. Cole helped with that in the pre-race show, Cole. And when the wheels spun for the weather, for the League Adaptive Weather System, what can you tell us?
Yes, so qualifying is perfectly clear, which I think every driver was almost dancing for in the chat, apart from a couple of P2 drivers. But the race is also dry, but it's going to be overcast to light cloud to clear. But of course, Nick, we're racing under the lights, so they're not actually going to see that change on track. The shadows aren't going to change, but the grip levels might.
Yes, of course. So the weather affecting more than just how it looks aesthetically in F1 25. And as you mentioned, Cole, being a street track, the grip levels change dramatically. We know that towards the end of the session, the grip levels are incredibly higher than they are at this point in the session, this early on in the session. So expect drivers to be able to get 3 runs here in this qualifying session, short qualifying session, before we return to the lobby and we set the grid up for any penalties, which we'll discuss in a minute. But the big talking point ahead of today's race, Colin, is Jacob has been crowned the Season 27 P3 tier Drivers' Champion. So big congratulations to him. And unlike anything we've ever done in the league before, he's been crowned early, Cole, and he's moved up to the P2 tier.
Yes. So that was the decision that all the management made, and I genuinely believe that was the correct one, especially looking at the practice session this afternoon as well. Which makes this tier now flipping impossible to call. I have no idea who's going to win this race, which is great. That's what we want, It gives other opportunities for other drivers to have a good result. And I am so excited for this. And I'm going to take an early punt, Nick. Going to take an early punt, and I think Gazaman has an opportunity here to get a race win. Just got a feeling he's got a good chance.
Well, I saw Linfolk in practice earlier in the week, and he says this is his favourite track on the game, and he enjoys driving it so much, and he was looking pretty quick. So I'm expecting to see him right up there. Of course, a driver who joined during the season. We've had lots of changes to this P3 tier, but I feel now we've got a good group of drivers who are going to perform for us and be closely matched as we're riding on board with Tino through this tricky, tight, twisted section that Colin was saying he crashed earlier on, funnily enough, in the Ferrari as well. But moving down from the P2 tier for the rest of the season is Lawrence, Bettino, Joe, and Proverb. Of course, Proverb, no stranger to the P3 tier, former champion, of course. But those 4 drivers moving down, and King A, Zontel, Burjax and Jacob all moving up mid-season. So unlike us to make changes this late in the season, but we felt for the competitive of this tier, Cole, they had to be done.
Yeah, but this is where, you know, here at One Hub, we look after every tier. We don't just think about the top tiers and let all the other tiers basically ignore them, which, to be blunt, is what happens in some other leagues. And we're very, very conscious of making every tier the same, regarding exposure and streaming, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, I think we've made the right call, and it's going to be a very exciting race because of it. As Joe, and there's my punt so far, Gazaman, first driver into the 29s at 29.929.
Every single driver improved as they crossed the line there, so it just shows you how the track ramps up. Shiesty is the first driver who does it. He's had a bad lap. A few drivers, your dad being one of them, J.R. Mason. That was invalid from Ride Dog over the final chicane there, so just Matthias left to complete a flying lap here, who's currently on track. But yeah, a few drivers coming into the pits, Cole, even though they were on a lap, so invalidation, do you think, or a brush at the wall, perhaps?
Yeah, could well be. I didn't see it myself, but it wouldn't surprise me around the track this difficult. Even the last corner's not easy. You know, it's very fast, and I have spun there myself a couple of times. But one thing I am surprised about, I was just, normally Mason is one of the first drivers out on track. He is out on track now, so I was wondering whether he had any equipment issues, but he is on the circuit. We've got Lawrence in the pit lane. We got Lindfalk just about coming out in his kick Sauber to start his lap. And Nick's so difficult to get out of the way coming out the pit lane. You've got to be really alert.
Yeah, you definitely do. The pit entry here is tricky enough, particularly with the curbs, which I'm going to ask you about in a minute, Cole. But also the pit exit, very slow, very tight left-hander. And of course, drivers arriving to turn one at such speeds and trying to carry such speeds through that corner. That, you know, it's really important that drivers are looking at their mini map and working out who's on a quick lap. They don't want to get a penalty potential penalty for blocking in qualifying.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, depending on how bad the situation is, if you hold up somebody else, that you get a minimum of 3-place grid penalty for the next race. So that is not something that the drivers want to have, obviously. So just hoping that all the drivers are aware as Lingfal throws it round the bridge.
He's only on an out lap as well.
Yeah, that was spectacular to watch. I'm not sure it's the quickest way round, but it didn't half look fun. So Lingfal obviously looking quite confident with that kick Sauber.
Yes, the other kick Sauber, the only driver to set a time on the medium compounded tyre so far. Of course, remember, we will do a lobby restart. But for now, these drivers, and let's jump on board with Lingfalt as he starts his first flying lap. I said he was quick in practice. Hopefully I haven't jinxed him, but let's watch him throw it into turn one.
Oh, look at that, using the curbs to perfection. That looked an absolutely near perfect first couple of corners. How aggressive is he going to be here? Nails the throttle on the exit. ERS now wide open as we head around the easy flat turn here. Hardly worth calling it a corner. And now this is a very tricky section. Don't want to ride that inside curb too much. You will run wide. Same as this one. Does ride it, but does get good exit speed. All over the curb there as he's just glances the wall. Would have scrubbed a little bit of speed off, but no damage. As we come into the bridge. So you heard Martin Brundle's been around since 1910, this bridge. As we head into the tight left-hander, such a tricky corner. As we're back on the throttle now, DRS again, wide open, heading down now, and we're heading towards the end of the lap. Now this is, as he takes probably a little bit too much curb there. Would have scrubbed speed off. This is obviously the newer section.
J.R. Mason.
29.7. Lovely lap from Mason there. As we're heading now into the final couple of corners, taking plenty of curb. Nail the throttle. Now, is this flat out for... No, it is a lift. It's a lift as we cross the line, and it's a 30.0. Puts in P3. Good lap.
Alrighty, so you heard the full analysis of that lap with Colin, but Cole, what I want to ask you about, and I mentioned it earlier, is Lawrence is coming towards the end of his lap. Just himself and Bolton yet to complete a lap time. The curves here, Cole, they're so different. Some of them are like triangles almost.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not really representative of what we see in the real world, having watched it closely earlier on this afternoon. And you've got to be so careful on these curbs. Some of them will just spit. Oh, as we got a... Sorry to jump in then. We got a Mercedes in the wall. I'm just going to try and it
Proverb.
It's Proverb. I'm just having a look to see if he's damaged his front wing at all.
It's in the middle section, just after the long straight turn 9, I think, or turn 8.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think, yes, he has damaged his front wing, so he is going to have to return to the pit lane. So, Proverb finding it a bit tricky out there. Don't forget, a former champion here at One Hub won the P3 championship without actually winning a race.
Oh, he's round again. I don't know if he was just getting out of the way there, or...
I think he might have been getting out of the way of the McLaren, which I think was very wise, considering he's does have damage on his car. But he does have a victory here at One Hub. He did manage to get a victory last season. I'm really excited to see him back and see what he can do.
Bolton just happened to get out of the way of Shiesty there, going in the same runoff area that Proverb did. So J.R. Mason leads the way at the moment. Gazza in P2. The top 12 separated by, well, I was going to say a second. Joe just stamps in a 129.4. This track, though, Colt, I think we're going to see that come down, because I think that time's going to be beaten for sure, because this track is ramping up. We know that it's dry, and these drivers keep putting rubber down every lap that they do.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the pole time is going to be one of the last few to cross the line.
Gazza's 4 tenths up. Sorry, Cole, Gazza's 4 tenths up as he's coming towards the end of his lap. It looked pretty tidy through the last chicane there. Throws it little lift into the final 2 corners. Crosses the line, and he does just behind Joe.
Look at that. Look how close that is. I'm feeling even more cocky now with my prediction of Gazza. An absolutely brilliant lap from the Red Bull driver there. He's had some brilliant results the last few weeks. 2 top 5s, driving superbly well. You've got to say, not one of the quickest drivers, just super consistent. You know, don't make a mistake, makes the right calls, but he's got great pace here.
I'd say Matthias will be a little bit annoyed with Quinn there in the first sector as Matthias is on his lap. Quinn pulling over to left-hand side, but that is exactly where you want to put the car as you're braking before the long slingshot straight. And Matthias looks like he's going to have more traffic as he heads towards the bridge section. Colt, obviously it's such a long track here, so the fact that drivers are so close really bodes well for the race.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, to have the times this close in qualifying on a track this long with this many corners really does bode well for a very, very exciting race. Matthias looking to get a good result. He's really struggled the last couple of races. Things haven't gone his way. Was involved in an incident last week that wasn't entirely his fault. But he did already have damage at that point. So he's hoping to go and get a much better result this evening. Let's see what his lap time's going to be. It's a 30.4, puts him up into the top 10.
Got some drivers on and out laps and drivers in the pit lane. Let's look at Max. Max is 4 tenths up through the first 2 sectors, running it right close to the wall, as all the drivers are. Fair play to them, and absolutely sends it quicker than anyone I've seen through those last couple of corners, and he jumps up to 4th place.
Lovely lap.
Time to come in and get a new set of boots. Interestingly, let's have a look. J.R. Mason seems slightly out of sync, Cole, in terms of coming into the pit lane. So does Lynn Falk. So I think this could potentially be their last laps, the Sauber and Mason.
I think you're right. I think this could be. I don't think Mason. I'm almost certain Mason will not have enough time to do any more laps.
Unless he boxes and doesn't complete this lap.
Yes, good point, which is what he might end up doing if he's not quicker. So at the minute, he is almost matching his best Sector 1 time. Let's see what his best Sector 2 time is, as he's very, very good over the bridge, round the hairpin. Good exit speed. Let's see what his Sector 2 is like. Is it going to be an improvement? Yes! A tenth and a half up, so he's almost certainly going to carry on unless it all goes pear-shaped in the last corner. Is he going to have a bit of a tow from the Ferrari? He might well do. It's not going to get held up by the Ferrari, I don't think. He's just going to get a nice little bit of a tow as he heads through the last corner. Let's see what he... Oh, he attacks that.
That was
very
flat,
hard.
I think.
And lovely, a 29.5 puts him up into P3. Very good lap time. I'm sure Mason will be delighted with that.
Here comes Linfolt, so he's coming to complete his lap. So these are the two drivers who we think are completing their last laps early on in the session. No, he comes into the pits, so this is going to be tight to get in and out before the session ends. 3 minutes and 15. J.R. Mason, though, do we think he's made a mistake there, Cole, by completing his lap so early on? We obviously we have said so, that yeah. The track's going to ramp up.
Yeah, I think that's it's probably cost him a tenth or two. So if you look at that and say tenth or two, you know, you're on provisional pole then. As Mike says, Max Verstappen would call that being held up. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Vitinho is pushing mighty on this lap through this middle section, the tight and twisty bridge section, right up against the wall on the exit there. I reckon that's cost him a little bit of time. But he's got his DRS open, Cole, heading into the braking zone. He's half a tenth up on his previous best. And he's sliding through the exit, absolutely pushing that Ferrari as much as he can in the P3 tier.
Yeah, this is really aggressive from Vitinho, but is it quick? He's clambering all over the curbs. He's really pushing hard. Last corner, down a gear, back on the throttle, and it's a twin. No, it's not. It's a 30.3. Just a couple of thousand slower. Now, is he going to try and... Is he... I'm just wondering whether that McLaren held Vitinho up. Was that a chance for a second run? I don't know.
Yeah, difficult to say. Obviously, you're going to have to manage it. Sheisty's on a lap now, currently at the back of the field, going right close to the barrier there through the bridge section. Keeps it nice and tight at the hairpin. That was good. As he gets on the barrier, you'll see that rear wing open. Is being used. A minute 30 left in the session. He's 4.5 tenths up on his previous best, but he's going to need to find more time than that. That was tidy through there, and he's got some errs to dump down this final straight.
It's quite easy to use your ears here. You just basically use it at every opportunity. He's got a couple of percent left. He's timed this to perfection with his ERS. Let's see what his time's going to be. It's going to be a 31. He's still 16th, but a half a second improvement, just a couple of tenths behind Quinn, who you've got to say is going to be very disappointed with 15th. Now he's on his outlap. This is Quinn's last chance to get off the back of the grid.
There's plenty of drivers on a lap. All right, Joe is invalidated his lap time, so Joe will not be improving. He's invalidated that. Gaz has spun. So that's P1 and P2 not improving. Max is on an outlap. Hockey Knight is on, and I think he's backed out. He's not going to have time to complete this lap. Vitinho's done as well. So Hockey Knight's done. So Max, out of your top 5, the only driver who's going to be setting a lap time at the end of this session. Lawrence just started his lap. What can he do? Miles is coming to the end of Sector 1, 2.5 tenths up. I said the track's going to ramp up, Cole. Linfolt is currently on a lap 2, so he's gone for another one. He's just got out in time. Bolton is on a flying lap, cuts the curb then aggressively. Matthias is 3 tenths up in Sector 1, Cole. It's all happening here.
Yeah, this is huge improvements. Keep an eye on that tower, because it's going to completely change in the next 30 seconds. So we know that Mason's done, Gaz is done, Joe is done, Max is on his lap, he's half a tenth up.
Here comes Proverb.
Oh, let's have a look, let's see what his lap time is. He is quicker. It's a 30.6, it's 14th. Quinn now crossing the line. What's Quinn going to manage? Quinn, a lot quicker, but still only 15th. Quinn will be disappointed with that.
Miles is next, I believe, to cross the line. What's he going to do? Sends it in the final couple corners. It's a 1:29.6. He jumps up to 4th position, only a 10th and a half off pole. Max is a 10th and a half down in the first sector. Lawrence does a 29.3 to steal pole position from his teammate.
Absolutely brilliant. What a lap that is. Not by a lot. Very, very, very close. Absolutely nothing in it between the two McLarens. Is there going to be any team orders within the McLaren? That's going to be interesting to see.
I think that's everyone who could have improve in the last two aren't improving. So Lawrence returns to the P3 tier and takes pole position. It's a McLaren 1-2. Gaza in 3rd, Linkfalt in 4th, Mason in 5th, Miles in 6th. I feel like anyone in the top 5 could have got pole there, Cole. You've got to think Joe, Gaza, JR Mason didn't complete a run near the end, and Linkfalt, that was his 2nd lap on those tyres.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you feel as though if some drivers timed their runs a bit better, they could have gone a lot quicker. You'd expect that Joe and Gaza would have probably gone a bit quicker if they didn't, screw up their laps. But I'm sure that the top 5 and 6 are going to be delighted with that. And here is our running order then, and it's Lawrence on pole, Joe 2nd, Gaza 3rd, then Lingfalk, then Mason, then Miles, then we have Max, Hockey9 in 8th, Matthias in 9th, then Rydog, Vitinho, Bolton, the Fury Formula, Wappin Proverb in 14th, and if I quickly scroll down, Quinn in 15th and Shiesty in 16th. And that is not our grid because I'm about to apply some grid penalties.
So, Colt, let's talk about grid penalties. Obviously, all drivers in a One Hub Racing season must take a new engine and a new gearbox. And we've got some drivers, I believe, who are doing that here.
Yes, so we've got 3 drivers taking an engine. That is Fury, Shiesty and Max. And 3 drivers taking gearbox, which is Proverb, Dr. Mew, who's unfortunately not here this evening. He did sign out. And the other driver is Hockey9. So we do have a couple of drivers taking their penalties.
Alrighty, and how much will that hurt them in this race? Of course, the gearbox is a 5-place grid penalty, and a new engine is a 10-place grid penalty. So keep that in mind. But McLaren 1-2. So ignore what's about to happen because we're all going to go back to the lobby. But Cole, perhaps this is a good chance for you and I just to run through the standings for the P3 tier. Now we will include the drivers who have moved up, but of course remember that they have moved up. So we'll just keep that in mind.
Yes, so Jacob, we know, is being crowned the champion with 332 points. Burjack in 2nd, who has been promoted to P2. He's on 87. Then in 3rd place, we got Mason on 71. Kinne's in 4th on 62, but he's been promoted into P2 as well. Matthias then's on 62. Jamie 6th on 57. Gazaman 7th on 33, which you've got to say, not out of the hunt of a potential top 3. Hockey9 in 8th with 31 points. Miles on 28 points in 9th. Jack on 26 points in 10th. Quinn with 22 points. Shiesty with 17. The Fury Formula with 16. Rydog, a late joiner to the league, he's got 14 points. Mr. Zontal, who's been promoted into P2, he's got 12 points. And Max, another late joiner to the league, he's on 7 points. Guest has 4 points, and Dr. Mew has 2 points. And then obviously the new drivers, Joe, Proverb, Lawrence, Vittenhouse, have yet to score.
Yeah, and Lynn Falk has had a couple DNFs the last couple of races, so he'll be looking to change that. Now, Cole's going to disappear off the stream for a minute, and I'm going to talk about the constructors' standings. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 tabs open on the laptop here so that I can compare, because what I want to do is I want to read out what drivers are in which team now, so that will give us an indication how things will pan out towards the end of the season. So currently Ferrari lead the way on 148 points, and your Ferrari drivers are the Fury Formula and Vitinho, who has moved up from P2, so they'll be looking to keep that lead. Next on 128 points, so only 20 points behind, is the Williams team. That is Jamie and JR Mason. Of course, Jamie away on his holiday this week. In third place is Mercedes on 104 points. And let's just confirm who is going to be in the Mercedes for the remainder of the season. So you've got Ride Dog, who moved down from P2 early in the season. And then you've got Proverbs, so a strong pairing to finish out that team's season. McLaren, who are in fourth on 79 points, they are not out of it because they've got two new drivers. They have Lawrence and Joe, which just qualified on the front row of the grid. So they've got 79 points. They are not out of it, even though they're, 69 points behind Ferrari. Kick Sauber is on 68 points. That is Lynn, Felk, and who is Matthias. So again, two strong pairings. And then you've got Red Bull, which of course Gaz has been doing really well for since he's moved down from the P2 tier. And who is the other driver? It's Quinn. So obviously Quinn has had a quiet start to P3 life since he moved down. And then you've got Haas on 38, Aston Martin on 30, Alpine on 29, and RB on 19. So those are your constructors' points scoring, and hopefully all of that makes sense. What was pole? Good question, Mr. Zonto. I think it was a 0.5, 29.5 possibly, from Lawrence ahead of his teammate Joe. So the McLaren 1-2 at the moment, and of course, you know, it is difficult to overtake here in Singapore. Not as difficult as it was in real life, which we saw today. But we know that the weather is going to go from overcast to light cloud to clear, so the track will ramp up throughout the 31 laps that we're about to partake. And of course, we have seen with overcast, because the weather is set to approximate, that there sometimes can be some drops of rain. So will that feature? Will that spice things up here in Singapore? But if you are in the chat, if you are watching the stream, let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this race. Colin is just sorting out the grid before we get underway, and Mike confirms it was a 29.3 that got P3 pole position.
And we are all ready to go. So I will inform the drivers that they can ready up, and then we're going to have, to be honest, I think one of our most exciting races of the season.
I mean, the changes that we've made, to me, the argument is already proven that we've made the right decision, Cole, because of how competitive 100%. That qualifying was.
Exactly. You can see how close the grid is now, that the decision that the management... And, you know, one thing to be aware of, we don't take these decisions lightly. You know, we don't just do a 5-minute chat and then, yeah, that'll do. We really we really consider it. We take a long time to make sure we come to the right decision, and I think it's proved evident that we have done just that.
Now, Colt, I tell you what, I am going to bring up the One Hub Racing database, and I'll tell you why I want to do that, because there is some serious experience in the top 3 positions of this starting grid. So if we bring up the database, if we search for Gaza. So Gaza, ready for this? 167 finishes, 133 points finishes, 7 wins, 29 podiums, 3 poles, 3 fastest laps, 1,105 points, 3 Constructors' Championships, 16 Driver of the Day, 1 Driver of the Month, and he is a man that's finished 3rd twice, and champion in season 21 in the P3 tier. So Colt, he's a man who's got some experience, but in pole position, you've got Lawrence, who, if we search for, has 117 finishes, 102 points finishes, 10 wins, 29 podiums, 7 poles, 10 fastest laps, 912 points, 2 Constructors' Championship, 3 Driver of the Day, 1 Driver of the Month. And then if we scroll along, we can see all the seasons he's raced in. And season 22 was his Drivers' Championship, along with season 25. So, a couple of drivers who know how to win races and championships.
Yeah, which makes this tier even more exciting now. But for anyone interested in all of the stats, they are available online on our Discord. So you can see all the stats, including your own and anyone else's as well. As I see Fury has left the session. He's disconnected. I will invite him back as soon as possible.
I will do the same.
But yeah, so, you know, these, you know, the likes of Lawrence, Gaza, you know, and Mason, they're used to leading races now. You know, they've had a few, you know, they've got victories under their belts. They're used to leading under safety cars, etc., which we haven't spoken about, Nick, but we can see it right at the end of the pit lane there, the green Aston Martin. I don't think that's the last we're going to see of it on this screen. I suspect that we're going to see it quite often, along with those front wings. I think they're going to be used again as well.
So from the camera, you can see, I don't know if anyone was looking to the bottom left-hand corner of their screen, but you would have seen Joe's tyres in the garage change from the red compound, the soft tyres, to the hard compound. So is he starting on the hard? Have we given that away to everyone else on stream? Perhaps that's disadvantaged him. Who knows? But yeah, just being at that position in the pit lane where we're able to see. But Colt, we don't expect to see too many soft runners here. We think it's going to be mainly the medium and the hards.
Yes, I don't think we're going to see much soft running at all unless there is an incredibly late safety car. But the drivers have surprised us before. You know, there's been some weird and wacky strategies. And it has worked for some drivers, to be fair, the weird ones. But it's going to be very interesting. So now you can... the drivers now doing what they should do, which is not ready up. And... then they can give the drivers plenty of time to sort their strategy out and their fuel as well, and obviously load their strategy and their setup, sorry. And I've just twigged something, Nick. There's no one to ready up. So I will give them a couple of minutes and I will let them know that they can ready up. Because normally the rules within OneHub is the drivers do not ready up and only the tier coordinator does. But of course, Nick and I'm hosting, so I cannot physically ready up. So we will ask them to ready up now.
So hopefully Fury Formula will be able to get in his car once the race gets underway. Otherwise, that'll be a big shame if he's not able to race here tonight in Singapore. Of course, a long race, anything can happen. It will provide plenty of entertainment, and as Colin mentioned, we might see some safety cars.
I'd be very shocked if we don't, to be honest. Yeah, so Fury is stuck in, and he can't use his setup, load his setup, unfortunately, so that's a big shame for him. There we are, the message is out that the drivers can go ahead and ready up.
Of course, no formation lap, so once that 30-second timer
into it
kicks off, we're going racing. And of course, a short run down to turn one, but you know, it's quite a high-speed corner. And we do often see drivers, you know, attempting to go side by side, as we saw in Formula One this afternoon. But I'm massively excited. How are the two new McLaren teammates going to, you know, choose to engage? Are they going to get it a bit more cleaner than Lando and Piastri did earlier this afternoon, or are they going to be making contact as well?
Well, yeah, we'll soon find out as we're about to go racing here at Singapore. 5 red lights are on. And we are racing at Singapore. Who gets the better start of the two McLarens as they head into turn one? Looks as though Joe is ahead. Yes, he is.
Oh, contact between the Sauber kick and the other McLaren going side by side through turn 3 and heading down towards turn 4. And looks like the McLaren's got the inside, the Sauber's on the outside. Have they given each other enough room? Yes, they have. But Gazza's now trying to take advantage of these two. Has he got a run? Is he going to try and send it down the inside and make it 3 wide? He does!
Look at this with 3 wide. That's bound to end in tears. And it does. As Gazza comes together. Mason's now in the inside.
Oh, it's all getting nasty.
Oh, that's got a bit pear-shaped. As Mason's got a damaged front wing.
So you can see how one move there had a knock-on effect for all the drivers behind. So ultimately, oh, and there's more contact. That's Gazza and someone else, and Gazza's had an absolute nightmare of a start. He's behind his teammate now.
What a terrible start for Gazza, and he has front wing damage. And this is not a track where you can have front wing damage and really get away with it. You know, you really do need to box, really speaking. Matthias has got damage. There's so many drivers out there with missing end plates. As Quinn now is fighting with Shiesty with a good move down the inside. And I think both Red Bulls have damage.
I tell you what, something we don't often see, as we're seeing side by side a Red Bull and an RB. Are any of these Red Bulls going to come into the pits? We can see an Alpine coming in, yeah, Red Bull there, and eventually Quinn gets a position inside the top 10. But all drivers, bar Lingfeldt, started on the medium compounded tyre, and the Sauber is the only driver who's under pressure, by the way, from Lawrence, who's currently on the hard compounded tyre, as Gazza switches now to that tyre.
Yeah, and you can see now with DRS, Lawrence in the inside, and there's contact between the two drivers. Luckily no damage, but Lawrence only caught the end of that. But Lawrence loses a ton of time, and now he's under pressure from Rydog.
Well, you've got to think that corner, I think it's turn 7 or turn 8, Cole. It's a high-speed left-hander. It's more high-speed than, it looks from, the camera reviewing. And, of course, you've got to make sure your car is fully alongside at the point the driver on the outside is going to turn in. Otherwise, the space is always difficult to give. But nevertheless, if drivers feel they've been unfairly defended against them, they can take that to the steward's office. Obviously, we said I was on board with Gazza. Was he going to make it 3 wide? He chose to, and ultimately he came out worse off than that.
Yeah, so Gazza now quite far down the field, but he's got a bit of clean air. Bolton is just a couple of seconds up ahead. He's on the hard compounder tyre. Really speaking now, you think that a safety car is going to be needed for Gazza as Joe sets the fastest lap of the race. Lindfalk in second, Lawrence in third, Rydog in fourth, Mason in fifth, and Miles in sixth. Miles really putting Mason under pressure.
Yeah, the Alpine driver looks like he's got some good grip, some good traction in that car. Hopefully everyone remembered to load their setups. But just, it is difficult to overtake it. You've got to have a really good run onto this straight if you want to try and sling it down the inside, or potentially even the outside if the car in front decides to defend. But at the moment, 2.3 the gap between the top two. I think that's more down to the tyre compound, as Quinn gets ahead of Matthias into 9th position.
Yeah, you can see Lawrence now. He's coming back at Lindfalk for another go. So we got a yellow flag in sector 3.
Proverb spun.
Proverb's like, oh, he reverses into the wall. I hope that hasn't given him any rear wing damage. Let's hope that he gets away with that. It was just a slight tap, so I think he might be okay. Just having a look. I think he's got away with damage. Yes, he has. So he can carry on going. Let's just hope that he hasn't damaged his rear wing. But to be honest, we will find out quite soon.
Formula back in his car? Or as he goes deep at the hairpin? Is he back in the car? It looks like he might be in the Ferrari now.
Yes, that's good. So Fury back in the lobby, which is great to see. Now, whether he was able to load his setup or not is another matter. So he might be on a default setup here, which would be quite tricky for him.
Yeah, never nice. The 1.8, the gap between top two, so settled down a little bit. Shiesty's looking feisty, pardon the pun, as he makes another position as Matthias comes into the pit lane. So has this Sauber driver got damage? Let's ride on board and see whether he changes the wing. He's had such a good start to the season, Matthias, but it's kind of tailed off with some incidents the last few races.
Yeah, it's all gone a bit pear-shaped, unfortunately, but we've still a long way to go. Decides to change his front wing and go on the hard compounder tyres. Now, we know there's a couple of drivers out there with end plate damage. Are they going to choose and decide to change their front wings at the pit stop, or do they think it's not worth it? Like we saw with Lando this afternoon, similar incident there. We had the end plate damage and chose not to repair it.
Yeah, I tell you what, this battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th is looking pretty tasty. Miles has got ahead of your dad into 5th position. And Vitinho now right on the back with Hockey Knight just behind him. So these four, you can see them, they're all in the same helicopter shot. Beautiful shot here of Singapore. And yeah, we'll continue on for another lap as Lindfolt gets the gap down to 1 second. Has Joe made a mistake on this latest lap? I wouldn't say the mediums should be going off just yet. Ride Dog, by the way, is all over the back of Lawrence. So Lawrence struggling here on this opening stage. And the two behind, the battle behind, isn't that far.
No, that's right. You can see that this grid is just closing up almost every lap. The only outlier here now is Miles and Mason, and they're kind of fighting hard, so that's why there's a little bit of a gap. But yeah, Joe, he seems to be struggling, and I agree with you, Nick. I'll be very, very surprised if these tyres of his are going off already, but you never know, it could be the case. Lindfolt really in the hunt now.
Yeah, half a second. Ride Dog is also half a second, but you need to have such a good run onto that straight to be able to do anything. Yellow flags. Wonder if we can see what that is for. And it's Proverb again. So what a nightmare return the former champion is having here in the P3 tier.
Yeah, poor old Proverb really struggling. He's probably overheated his tyres now, and then due to the nature of the track, struggling to get those tyres back under control with the temperatures. But we have a long, long way to go yet.
Hockey Knight getting really close to the wall there through this twisty bridge section. Look, he's almost pushing the Ferrari out of the hairpin, and the Ferrari's almost pushing J.R. Mason. So these four boys look like they're going to put on a show for us here tonight. Look at this. Lindfolt is right now closing in to the back. Actually makes contact with the McLaren in front. I wonder if he got any damage there. Gets such a better exit still. But he's going to have to wait for the straight. You can see the rear sliding both cars.
Yeah, you can see they're both struggling in rear traction. But Lindfolt has DRS. He's down the inside. Joe does not fight it too hard, as Lawrence has already got a 3 second, only after 6 laps. That's not what he wants. So that will actually put him behind Miles at this stage. So that's, as Miles, that's a huge slide as well. But this race really has...
Oh, and he's made a mistake. J.R. Mason's going to have a good run here onto the back straight. Or I should say the main straight, whatever. And looks like he's got the job done on Miles. So it just shows you what I was talking about, Cole. It's all about that exit rather than, having the fresher tyres or having the DRS or ERS or anything else.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, it's as we got a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. Let's have a look who that
Bolton,
is.
possibly?
Yes, I think it was. I think you're right. I think Bolton's made a mistake somewhere. Shows how difficult it is. Tyres now, yeah, you can see it was really sliding on it on exit. Really struggling with those rear tyres.
Lawrence
Are these tyres going off, Nick?
Well, Lawrence is closing in on his teammate, and it looked like his teammate had the pace in the opening sets. But look at this, Lawrence is going to have a chance against Joe here. Obviously, Joe getting the DRS from the car in front. No team orders, looks like, at this stage of the race between the two McLaren drivers.
No, they're certainly racing each other hard.
Joe's coming in. Joe
is in the pits. He's had enough of these medium tyres. Are we going to see anyone else dive in the pit lane? Not yet. So Joe is the first of what I would call the normal pitters. Obviously, we had Matthias in and Gaza, early stages, onto the hard compounder tyres for Joe.
Yeah, looks like the hard's working well for Lindfolt at the moment. And Ride Dog hanging on to Lawrence as well. So this is some good pace in Ride Dog that we haven't necessarily seen since he moved down from the P2 to Coutinho. Looks like the closest now to Miles. So just shows you Miles going from attacking to defending, and your dad's almost getting away a little bit.
Yes, and the gap is coming down as Vitinho. Oh!
It's in the wall.
That's a big hit. In the wall with damage. Vitinho with front wing damage. I just caught the end of that. As Bolton gets 3 seconds, so that's really hurt Vitinho's race. And Miles now 2 seconds back from Mason.
It looked like Vitinho had the job done. Miles went late on the brakes on the inside, but ultimately made the apex. Vitinho decided to go even later on the brakes, and almost as if, like in real life, they gave up the ghost. And I think he's lucky just to have end plate damage from that, as Quinn's having a good race catching up on this battle.
Yeah, Quinn, look at Quinn after a horrid start to the race, you've got to say. Up in 8th place, catching these pack ahead. Normally, Quinn has the aid of Jess as an engineer for this tier, but unfortunately for Quinn, he's going to be on his Todd.
Ooh, JR Mason's in.
Yeah, here we go then.
So JR Mason's got end plate damage. I think Hockey Knight also has... Yeah, Hockey Knight also has end plate damage. Miles, let's keep an eye. Doesn't look like he's changing his wing, so he's okay. Quinn comes into the pit as well. Patino's having his wing changed in the pit, so lots of drivers changing the wing. No virtual or full safety cars at the moment. And everyone who's boxing choosing to go on the hard compounded tyres. And what's this? Looks like...
Fury's in the wall. He's damaged his front wing, so he's in the pit lane. That's what the yellow flag is. He's going to be changing his front wing. Mason, I noticed, decided against changing his. So Mason has decided he's okay with the level of grip that he's got, despite his little damage, and he's going to continue on.
I think Lingfolt's made a mistake here, because Lawrence is close back within 3/10 of the Sauber driver. You can see a beautiful helicopter shot over this bridge section, how tight it gets. And Ride Dog right there as well. Let's see if we can ride on board with Lingfolt, see if we can see if he's got any end plate damage. It's hard to tell because the end plates are black. No, his wing's in full tact, as is Lawrence's and Ride Dog. So those three keeping their wings intact, and no surprise, they're leading this race.
Yes, but they're going to be... are they going to be in danger of an undercut at any stage from the drivers behind?
Speaking of undercut,
only 4 seconds behind Joe, so...
Here comes Ride Dog and Lawrence coming into the pits. We know the undercut, Cole, is worth quite a bit here. The grippier tyres, lots of corners to make up time. Let's keep an eye on where... So Max is still yet to pits. Joe is the first of the front runners to stop. Let's keep an eye where he comes out in comparison to his teammates. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, it is going to be tight. So there's Joe now crossing the line. He's going to be heading into turn 1. Where is the other drivers? Oh, it's just alongside. This is super tight. Oh, he's just ahead. He just makes it ahead. And Joe has managed to stay ahead and jump ahead, sorry, of Lawrence. And Lawrence is going to be on cold tyres for a couple of corners. So Joe timed that pit stop very well.
Looks like Ride Dog lost a little bit of time in the pits compared to Lawrence there, so I'm not sure whether that was just slowing down. But Lingfolt on a completely different strategy, is starting on the hard compounded tyre, the right decision at the moment with no safety car. It's proving to go all right for him, as we're seeing Vitinho get past Matthias.
Yeah, so Vitinho now ahead of Matthias. Matthias having another nightmare race, unfortunately, for the Kick Sauber driver, but still a long way to go. We're only lap 9 of 31 laps, so plenty of action still to go. And let's just double check, see who's pitted and who hasn't, sorry. So it's just the top 4 left to pit.
So, of course, in one hub call.
Lindfalk in the pit lane, 10-second penalty. That is going to be absolutely crucial for him.
Yeah, that's going to kill his race, particularly if there is a late safety car. I think that my chosen winner for this race has sadly ended his chances quite early on. Only a third of the way through. He's got good pace. Podium perhaps still in contention, but you can see he's come out has he come out ahead of Ride Dog? No, behind Ride Dog. So he's come out in 6th position JR Mason just behind him now, so JR Mason could look to steal a podium here in this race. Pass 1-2, both yet to stop.
Yeah, as Lindfalk hits the wall, doesn't do any damage, thankfully, but pushing hard. He's on the medium tyres, so the drivers around him are all on hards, really, bar the top two who are yet to pit. So expect to see some brilliant pace from Lindfalk, but he has got that 10-second time penalty that he's going to have to serve at his next stop.
He definitely will. And Lawrence and Linkfelt with a penalty. Shiesty joins the club. So obviously Lawrence is only a 3-second time penalty. But Cole, seeing lots of... And you're doing the same as me, wincing. Because some of these drivers are getting so close to the Pirelli walls.
Oh, yeah. As I'm just on board now with Lindfalk. And the amount of grip he's got compared to... Rydog ahead is quite astonishing. You feel it's only a matter of time before he gets a mover done. He's right in his slipstream with the DRS, easily down the inside, you have to say. And that is a good move from Lindfalk.
And I tell you what, the same corner that move happened, Lawrence got ahead of Joe. Didn't look like Joe fought his teammate too hard, but Linkfelt looks like he's got some seriously good pace on these medium compounder tyres.
Yes, unfortunately, that 10-second time penalty isn't going to help him. So he's in a difficult position now where he's really got to push hard. He can't afford to just bide his time here now. He's going to have to push. And he is catching the two McLarens up ahead, hands over fist.
And Miles looks like he's catching. Is he going to have a go on Gerald Mason? No, these two look like they're going to be having a race-long battle. Gerald Mason makes a slight mistake there over the curve, gets a little bit stuck. Miles almost runs into the back of him, has to go slightly deep. This is entertaining between these two. Looks like it's going to be a race-long battle. As Rydog's still hanging in there in fifth, always hanging into the DRS of the car in front, keeping out of trouble and keeping those penalties down for the moment. And you can see Miles, that curve there before the bridge section is so difficult, Colette. Can you take much of it? Can you not take much of it? I think it's the angle you take it at almost.
Yeah, it's so tricky, and it's very, very easy to damage a car in that section as well. But I bet Miles' eyes were on stalks when he was closing in on the Williams ahead then. Luckily slowed it down in time. He's got the DRS. You feel as though that at this stage of the race, Miles has the pace. Yes, as we got Hockey Knight in the pit lane. So where's Hockey going to reappear from now as Lindfalk, unsurprisingly, sets the fastest lap of the race? Yeah,
33.9. Of course, Cole, remember that there are two fastest lap points available. The driver inside the top 10 and the driver outside of the top 10. Both will be awarded a fastest lap point, and this Sauber looks like he's all over the back of these two McLarens. The advantage that Joe's going to have is the DRS from his teammate.
Yes, now this is going to potentially be a DRS train here. So, but look at the extra grip that Lindfalk has got. He's going to try down the inside of the McLaren. Oh, there's a bit of contact, but they make it through unscathed. As Lindfalk, you could tell, is driving almost borderline angry. I think he must be frustrated with his 10-second time penalty. As he hits the back of... Has he damaged his wing? I'm not sure. Yes, he has. He's damaged his
lost end plate.
Lost his end plate, so you feel as though he's got to relax a little bit as he keeps hitting the back of the McLaren. I'm sure Joe is going to be fuming with him.
Yeah, especially if Joe's got rear wing damage from that. Of course, you can do that in F1 25. But, yeah, disappointing. It just shows you, Cole, that there's no point in having the pace unless you know how to, get your way through these drivers who, are slower than you. But you've got to make sure that you get the move done cleanly. And ultimately, his race is going from bad to worse. But the two McLarens are going to put some entertainment in for us, I think.
Oh, yes, you feel as though these guys are...
Here comes Miles, sorry Colt, down the inside Miles. Of turn one on JR Mason, giving JR Mason plenty of room. And great move there. And these two are going to be ding-donging their way in front of each other all the way through the race. Who's got the fresher tyres at the moment? Nope, they're both on the same tyre compound. So It's even squeezing, and JR Mason now going to have the DRS open, but I think the gap's just about big enough. And look at this, Joe's got the position now on Lawrence, but runs slightly wide. This allows Lingfault to go around the outside of the next corner and get the job done.
Wow. What a manoeuvre that is from Lindfalk. You feel as though Lawrence didn't fight it too hard because he could see that Lindfalk has that 10-second time penalty, so there's no point fighting him too hard. Miles picks up a 3-second time penalty. That won't please him at this stage. But look at the speed that Lindfalk has got in that car with these medium tyres.
Yeah, obviously
and with the front wing damage as well.
Yeah, he's got the fresher compound. Is he going to try anything here? This isn't traditionally the best overtaking zone, but look at this. Was there contact there? Was there contact that forced Joe slightly deep? And Lingfault has got the position.
Certainly. Yeah, I think that might end up in the steward's room, to be honest.
Rydog. Look at this. Rydog's going to try and get both McLarens. As Lawrence has left the session, what's happened there? Don't know if you can send him a...
I will send Lawrence an invite immediately to get him back into this race. I don't know what happened there.
Rydog, I said he's having a quiet race and just picking these positions off. He looks like, with these fresher tyres and Lawrence, he looks like he's got the measure of the McLaren at the moment.
He really does. Now, it's unlikely. Can Lindfalk stretch out this time now to put himself somewhere in the hunt after he serves his time penalty?
Here comes Rydog down the inside of Joe, and there's yellow flags somewhere in Sector 2.
That's Bolton.
It's a safety car. I think we've got a safety car or something.
I'm just going to have a look at the boards.
And also
yes,
Fury's.
Full safety car. It's a full safety car. So this is going to really change everything now. So Lindfalk, he's going to have to serve it his 10-second penalty now, you would have thought. I'd expect to see the drivers pit.
Yeah, so Fury also had a spin at a completely different corner on the track to Bolton as Fury touches the wall now as well, whilst under safety car conditions. Ferrari having a nightmare evening. But let's talk about strategy now, Cole. Lindfault's probably going to serve that 10-second penalty, change his wing. He's going to drop down the order. Anyone who's got a set of hards left could potentially go to the end of this race.
Yeah, that's very true. Any driver who decided to go for the harder compound strategy here, you feel is on for a tremendous advantage. If any drivers listening at this stage, please be careful of your delta. Don't get any drive-through penalties. Give it a wide berth. Don't just do it a couple of tenths. Make sure it's a good second and a half. And that will hopefully stop you getting any time penalties. I'm going to go on board Lindfalk to see if he stays out.
He stays out.
He stays out. Well, that is a surprise. Anyone else pitting? Rydog is in the pit lane.
Lawrence's AI stays out. Obviously couldn't double stack anyway with Joe. So Joe comes into the pits. What are these drivers going to do? So Joe's got 2 sets of hards. He'll be going to the end. What about Rydog? Rydog also has a set of hards. He's be going to the end. Maybe that's why Lindfalk hasn't pitted Cole. If he doesn't have another hards, it is what it is.
Good point. Yeah, very good point. Maybe Lindfalk thinks, I just cannot make it to the end here on these tyres, so there's no point in me boxing. But you can see the drivers. So Miles, Quinn, Mason, Joe, Rydog, they have all got brand new hards on, so we know that they went on the harder tyre strategy, which has worked out perfectly for them, you must say. As Fury gets a 10-second time penalty for cutting the corner, and he's also got a drive-through penalty as well, so not ideal for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, I think he's had enough. He'll probably retire into the pits. He's crashed there and he's destroyed his car on track. So I understand your frustration, but at no point can you destroy your car on purpose on track like that. You should come to the pits and retire safely. So will the safety car stay out longer because of that? This is going to help drivers like Gaza, Proverb, Shiesty, who were further down the tyres. Quinn's also on the same strategy as your dad. I did note that your dad didn't change his front wing still. So yeah, let's have a look, Cole. Who's done their 2 stops? Everyone except the top 5.
So it's, yeah, just the top 5. So they're going to have to stop again. You feel as though, I mean, what have we got? 17 laps, Nick? Do you think you could do 17 laps on a hard set of tyres?
I think you could. I think you can. Particularly
they're
because
not going to be very comfortable.
There'll be one more lap at least behind the safety car. So
So I throw my remote control across the room. Unfortunately, you can see that Lawrence is still ghosted, so he has yet to join the session. So I don't know what's gone on there. I have sent him an invite. I will send him another invite. He is online.
I've sent him one as well.
So if he is listening, you're under a safety car, so now's the time to join, and you shouldn't lose much time at all.
Yeah, you are in P2 at the moment. Of course, the top 5 yet to stop. So, in theory, Rydog, who I said was having a quiet race, keeping in those DRS zones, is your race leader as Lawrence joins the lobby. So, Rydog is actually your net race leader in terms of once everyone's completed their pit stops, waiting for Bolton, waiting for Gaza and Proverb to join the back of the field, which I suspect them to do before the end of this lap, which means a safety car will probably come in at the end of this lap.
Yes, and unfortunately, my and I don't know why, but my leaderboard that you can see on the left on my screen has decided it doesn't want to be there anymore, which is very an unusual bug, I must say. So I will be a little bit behind with my timings, unfortunately, just to let everyone know.
I just want to point out, sorry, Cole, the reason Vitinho's gap during this safety car is quite high, or was quite high, is because he's got Bolton in front of him. So between himself and Lawrence, he has the lapped car, the lapped Alpine.
Ah, of course,
so
yes.
That Alpine's going to have to get away. I think Miles doesn't have the same thing. He's just choosing to give a bit of a gap, same as your dad. Two drivers driving sensibly. No need to drive up the rear of the car in front at this stage. The safety car hasn't even reached the pit lane yet. But let's jump on board. Everyone has caught up. Good chance for Gaza Proverb to get back into this race. And when is Linkfelt going to go?
Yeah, is he going to go early? Is he going to go
He's
late?
gone.
It looks like he's already gone. And he's jumped the field. Look at that. Look at the lead he's got. He does run wide on the exit, but look at that. Timed that to perfection. Left the McLaren a bit sleeping there.
Oh, Joe's got a penalty for corner cut warning, so that's going to help Rydog in the fight for the win of this race.
Yeah, that's not going to please him one iota. So we know Falk has got not only a pit stop to do, but his 10-second time penalty. Lawrence has got a pit, Vitinho's got a pit, and I think Hockenai as well. And Max, I think, have only done one pit. Oh, look at that between the Red Bull of, I think it's Gazaman and Matthias. Look how close that is.
Yeah, that was pretty close. And look at the two in front. You've got Quinn and Shiesty. Is that off? And Quinn's now behind Matthias. So what's happened to the Red Bull driver there? He was on the same, potentially race-winning strategy as the cars in front, which was Miles, Joe Mason, Joe, and Rydog, who's got ahead of one of the Haas drivers. The two Red Bulls now going side by side into this tight section of the track. It's all happening here in Singapore, Colt.
This is absolutely action-packed at this stage. You feel as though there's absolutely no team orders whatsoever at Red Bull. That's the fact. As you can see, I think it's Quinn ahead. Sorry, it's very difficult without the time in leaderboard. Yeah, you can see that Quinn is the car ahead.
And you can see that also Joe's got ahead of Max, so he's staying with Rydog at the moment, but Rydog obviously without the penalty. We do have these yellow flags out. DRS is now enabled as Linkfelt has a 1.2 second lead. Interestingly, Lawrence has kept that gap to Linkfelt. I think the harder compounded tyres are probably the better tyre to be on at the moment. But if Linkfelt didn't have any hards left because he started on them, Cole, then that explains why he couldn't pit. Although I probably would have done so just to get rid of that 10-second penalty.
Yes, I certainly would have pitted, I think. Even if you go onto a set of mediums and then plan to go on maybe a set of softs at the end, does mean you get the fastest lap, probably, as well.
Oh, it's all looking tasty here, these two Red Bulls. As you mentioned, no team orders. One of them going wide again. That is Quinn. So Quinn really struggling. Look at that. There's, I think that's Bolton. The lapped car is now completely out of the way of everyone as he spins.
Yeah, so that makes life a bit simpler for the drivers having to lap Bolton. Bolton now a lap down, still got the chance of a point though, as the two Red Bulls are fighting tooth and nail with Matthias as well. You feel as though Gaz is the driver with the pace of the two Red Bulls being on those mediums.
Yeah, J.R. Mason under attack from Shiesty as what's happened here. Looks like there's a change of position between Vitinho. Ride Dog's looking to go down the inside, gets the job done. Hockey Knight is up into third position. Is Vitinho going to try and fight back? No, loses that one and down into fifth. Joe now behind the Ferrari as Linkfalt comes into the pits really slowly. And he'll be into service penalty, possibly change his wing. It's going to be a long stop for the Sauber driver. He'll come out last, I think.
Yeah, let's see what tyres he's going to pick now. I'm assuming it's going to be another set of mediums. Let's have a look. Yes, it is another set of mediums, so he felt as though he needed to do a couple of extra
something's
laps.
happened with the Haas. Max is now down in 13th place. So for running up in 5th at the safety car restart, he's now down in 13th and still to complete another pit stop. So, yeah, not a good day for him. Hockey Knight, on the other hand, is all over the back of Rydog, who's up into 2nd place now. So Rydog's only 3.7 seconds behind, and Bolton's retired from the race. Is that on track? Linkfalt would like it to be, that's for sure.
Yes, I think it was. Now, is that going to be another safety car, I wonder? Let's wait and see.
Green flags.
Yellow flags.
Green flags now.
Yeah, we're clear racing now, as we are now on lap 19 of 31. With Rydog, you got to say, he's catching Lawrence.
Yeah, pressure tyres, completed his mandatory 2-stop. Lawrence obviously disconnected back in his car, leading the race, but still to complete one more pit stop. All the drivers behind, other than Hockey Knight, have completed their mandatory 2-stops. So Shiesty's having a good race as well. Matthias is closely behind Quinn and Gaza. You have to say, Gaza looks like he's being held up here. He's got the pace, but can't do anything about it. Hockey Knight right on the back of Rydog. Seemingly got good pace this Hockey Knight on those older hard compounder tyres.
Yes, he seems to be getting into a good rhythm here. Miles now right behind Vitinho, certainly held up. You feel as though it's a bit of a Vitinho train at this stage of the race.
Yeah, definitely is. Can Miles do anything about it on this straight? He's going to have the DRS. I think the move's going to be done here. Where's he going to go? Thinks about it. The outside has to go. What now becomes the outside, and Vitinho tucks back in. Great move by Miles there.
Yeah, lovely move by Miles. Really needs it because he's got that 3 seconds. So will this little bit of time now be able to gain a bit of time on the drivers behind, particularly Mason? He's really got to put his foot down now, Miles.
He definitely does. And Joe on the back of Hockey Knight as well. But Miles has caught Joe by about 7/10 so far this lap since he's got past Vitinho. So Vitinho now holding up J.R. Mason, Shiesty, Matthias, Quinn, Gather, Proverb. All of these guys in a DRS train.
Yeah, they really are, as Matthias gets a 3-second time penalty. He's in 9th at the minute, so that will knock him out of the points at this stage, so he's going to have to push on, as Joe now DRS behind Hockey Knight. Hockey Knight yet to do his second stop, so he's got to come in the pits again. The same, I believe, with Lawrence.
So Gaza still not able to get past his teammate. And if you look at this train up to Miles, it's massive. Miles seems like he's got the pace at the moment. But Vitinho clawing back, hanging on in DRS at the moment. But Colt, Singapore, who said it's a boring race, maybe in real Formula 1, as Linkfelt sets the fastest lap of the race. Not in one-up racing.
Not even remotely. Look how close it is as Lindfalk sets the fastest lap of the race. He's in 13th on his fresh mediums with a lot of work to do, but that will give him a point at this stage for the bottom 10. As he's hunting down now Whopping Proverb. Whopping Proverb obviously returning to P3 in 12th place, but there's a lot of drivers ahead of him, Nick, with penalties that he can now take advantage of.
Yeah, there definitely is. Let's bring you up on screen. We can see Lawrence, Joe, Miles, Shiesty, Matthias and Quinn all have 3-second time penalties. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. Oh my goodness, Proverb's out of the race. Proverb spun and he is out of the race. Where is that? That is turn 14? The exit, I think. Safety car? Full safety car.
Drivers are pulling into the pit lane now. Now this is... I'm just trying to work out who... Did Lawrence manage to get in the pit lane? Oh, as Matthias gets 10-second penalty in the pit lane. That's certainly not what he wanted.
Linkfeld's got to be careful he doesn't get a, exceeding the delta. Looks like he's going pretty quickly on this lap. Lots of drivers diving into the pit lane. Lawrence didn't go into the pits. Was that because he's already passed the pit lane? If so,
I think he might have done.
He's got to hope the drivers behind get a delta, because otherwise his race is ruined. The second, third and fourth all deciding to go to the end. Hockey Night, that's worked out brilliant for him, Cole.
This is perfect for Hockey Night. He is now in 5th place with a brand new set of medium tyres to the end of the race. With a potential podium on the cards for Hockey Night here, because the drivers ahead have got penalties. Lawrence has got a box again. This could be Hockey Night's great opportunity.
It definitely is. And who else has got... So Quinn's decided to fit the soft compounded tyres for his final stint. And that's going to be a challenge to get those to the end in good nick. His teammate Gaza has gone on to a new set of mediums. So your pick for the race winner is currently in last position, Cole. But on a new set of compounded tyres. Let's bring up the pit stops. So...
Now, look, sorry, Nick, just going to interrupt. So I saw Mason box, right? But if you look at his tyres, they're 7 laps old. So he's gone back on to, because he only had, a hard... he didn't have another medium to go on. Now, is that a mistake from Mason? If he's just going to go on to 7-lap-old tyres, he may as well have stayed out, I think.
I think that's
a tactical error from Mason there.
I think the tyres that he were on were younger than 7 laps, weren't they? So he's gone on to an older set. Did he do it to change his front wing? He didn't do it at the last stop, so I don't know why he would know. It looks, it's a hard camera angle, but it looks like he's still got end plate damage on the left side. Yeah, he does on the left side.
Yeah, still got it. So, yeah, bit confusing there from Mason.
Lawrence comes out in last.
Yeah, so Lawrence down in last.
That safety car was wrong timing for Lawrence. I thought the drivers got a delta, but obviously not. And Lawrence therefore has gone from first to last.
Yeah, that's not ideal for Lawrence, but he is on the soft compounder tyre. Now, are they going to last that many laps? I've got to be honest, I have my doubts. I think it's going to be a big struggle for Lawrence towards the end of the race. He will catch up the pack. He will be very, very quick. But these tyres have got to last, and it's going to be very difficult.
If Lawrence decides not to catch up the pack on this lap, he could box at the end of this lap, Cole, and get another new set of soft tyres if he wants to. But as soon as he catches up the back of the pack, he will then be under the falling too far back delta. But I have to say, Cole, the safety car in this game is improved a lot in terms of, behind the safety car and when, how it comes out, picks up the leaders and all that sort of stuff. We have to give credit to Codemasters for that, I think.
Yeah, they've really improved it. Whereas on the last game, it would come out if there was a front wing in the road, which wasn't really realistic, and there was too many safety cars. I think they've got the balance just about right now. some instances where you think it should have come out and hasn't, but on the whole, I think it's got it pretty close now, which is great to see. As we are about to go racing, Rydog, he has not timed that very well. Joe, right on him.
And here comes Miles down the inside of Joe. And gets the job done. And the Haas driver trying to go down the inside of the McLaren. So on those new medium compound tyres, he's got the grip.
Yes, look at the pace that he's got and the confidence that he's got on those tyres. And look at Hockey 9 now, he's having an attack.
Here we go. On these fresher compound tyres, thinks better of it. He knows that the two cars in front have penalties. So he's racing Rydog. Look at this. Down the outside, the McLaren goes deep. He cuts back. Oh, what a move.
That is absolutely world class from Hockey 9 there. That was absolutely tremendous. What a lovely manoeuvre from the Haas driver.
Now, tell me this, Cole. If you were Rydog, would you be trying to keep Miles within your DRS to try and fend off Hockey Night? I don't think it's going to matter. Look at Hockey Night as he heads down the outside. Is he going to be able to get the job done? Brakes so much later, and it goes round the outside of the Alpine driver.
Absolutely brilliant. Hockey Night is on a mission. He can win this race. He's really on it. He's driving out of his skin here. He's got the pace. Rydog on the hards. Hockey Night on the mediums.
Here comes Quinn.
Oh, look at that. Quinn fighting with Mason.
All goes wide at the final. So Quinn's using those brand new softs to take advantage. Whereas Lingfeld, he's down in 9th place. He'll be looking to take... This race is anything from over. This last safety car, Cole, as Lingfeld goes down the inside, makes contact with Shiesty. I don't think that was a fair move if I've ever seen one myself. And is he going to be able to get the job done? Not at the moment. And look at that. The McLaren of Lawrence says, thank you very much on my new softs. I'll take the position. Oh, Gaza. Quinn and JL Mason. And you've got to think JL Mason, all the cars in front have penalties. So he'll be looking to take advantage. There's cars off the track in the background. That's Matthias and Gaza going side by side. Matthias getting the advantage at this stage of the race. Vittino's all on the back of Joe. Cole, I don't understand how we're meant to watch all these battles as Hockey Night is trying to go round the outside through the bridge section.
That's brave. That's brave. But he gets a good run. He's going to get DRS. Look at his DRS. It's in the 80s for Rydog. And Hockey Night in the inside. Slightly runs wide. Rydog on the exit, side by side. And he's just, look at the race in between these two. This is tremendous.
I think what Hockey Night is trying to do is, whilst these softs are fresher, get ahead, get the lead, and get out into the distance, out of the DRS zone. And look at that, but he's got to pick his places, because look, Miles is only a 10.5. Miles is going to have the attack down the outside now. Hockey Night's used all of his errs, and he's got the job done. Hockey Night sends it back down the inside, just leaves Miles enough room. These two battling hard, and just behind is Vittino. He's now on the fresher mediums as well. He's trying to take advantage and gets the job done on Miles.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, I can't call it. This is anyone's race. Any of the top 7 can win this race at this stage.
Quinn and Lawrence are there on their soft compounded tyres. Miles is flashing. Who's this? Trying to go side by side. It looks like Hockey Night and Vittino. Hockey Night breaks later. Vittino slots into 3rd position. Poor Rydog on those old Haras. It was all going so well until that late safety car.
Yeah, it's gone completely pear-shaped for him, you've got to say, really, since that safety car. Lawrence now up in 7th. He's back in the hunt on his soft tyres, as he's ahead of Mason now. Mason now down to 8th. Joe on 11 lap old hard still. He's in 6th. And Quinn really taking advantage now, up in 5th.
I tell you what, I think Miles, Rydog, and Joe, they're not out of this race. Joe loses a position to his teammate. These hard tyres are going to come back, particularly against the soft runners of Quinn and Lawrence. As look at this, Vittino gets ahead of Hockey Night into 2nd place, and poor Rydog is a sitting duck at the moment.
Yeah, you feel as though he's a cork in the bottle at this stage. but he's got a really good exit out of the last corner. He's got himself a bit of breathing space. We've got
Miles.
5 laps to go. Can he hold on?
Miles gets ahead of Hockey Knight, and the reason for that is Hockey Knight keeps trying to go down the inside of the penultimate corner, and obviously you can't carry as much speed if you try that, so he's lost a position to Miles now. Miles back up into the podium places. Of course, second and third have penalties at the moment. Hockey Knight doesn't. He needs to think about that. And look at this. Is he going to try anything here? Lots of drivers flashing on their ears. Quinn almost touching the back of the Haas, having a slide on corner exit. And look at this. Now Lawrence trying to go down the inside of Quinn. Quinn just about gives him enough room. The two soft runners.
Oh, they're side by side. I mean, it's so close between them. You feel as though they're fighting amongst themselves when they should be trying to get closer to the front pack. Driving so aggressively. But you can see how desperate they are to make progress as Hockey Knight down the inside in the just by the bridge section alongside Miles. Oh, is this contact again? Oh, they just about make it through.
And here comes Lawrence and Quinn trying to now take advantage of these two. And oh my gosh, Quinn makes contact with the rear. Somehow he does lose some end plate, but somehow keeps his car from retiring. I have to say, I think that was Quinn. And drive, look at this.
Oh,
You got Gerald Mason. Gerald Mason's had a brake failure in the background. He's gone straight on. The two Sauber drivers also cut the chicane. We got yellow. What's this for? A safety car? A safety car, Cole.
Safety car.
Quinn gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And oh my word, I don't know what's happened. It looked like J.R. Mason just went on straight into the barrier, the final chicane there. It's like he had a brake failure. Quinn comes in after that spin, gets a 10-second penalty. Gaza comes in, he's got damage as well.
Yeah, that was really strange from Mason there. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether he completely missed his braking point or whether it looked like he had brake failure because he just went flat out into that wall. We'll find out in the chat later on, obviously.
We definitely will. But lap 28 of 31, our third safety car, and this has really spiced things up. I don't know what happened there. It looked like the two Saubers went off with another car into the chicane. They cut the second part of the chicane, and then I just saw in the background your dad's car just like go full throttle into the runoff area and subsequently into the barrier.
Yeah, very, very strange from Mason there. Don't know what happened there, but that's not going to help his championship charge at all.
Ryan Dog will be loving this safety car period. He'll want it to stay out as long as possible. You've got drivers who need to catch up the back of the field, so the safety car won't come in this lap. Cole, I think it usually comes in with 2 laps to go. I'm going to quickly thank our sponsors, Cole, because we are going to run out of time as soon as this safety car period ends, because obviously the P2s tier is starting at 6 o'clock, so we don't want to take away time from those commentators. So big thanks to SimGrid, who we run all of our championships through. Vespa Team, who of course you can get One Hub Racing merch through prizes and our store. Next Level Racing providing prizes all the way from full setups in previous seasons. And sorry, looked like Miles tried to do a dummy into the pits there. Sim Racing setups, of course, Colt, you and I both use their setups throughout this season so far. Make sure you use our discount code, and of course big thanks to them for sponsoring our driver of the days. And then you've got Pure Sim Gear, Colt, with Sim Racing socks and gloves. Use our code again to gain those extra temps. Colt, lap 29 of 31, Hockey Knight makes contact with the rear of the Alpine, looking like he's just a bit too close. The McLaren drivers looking like they almost wanted to go side by side. So let's just, Colt, regroup, recap. What is the position of the race at the moment?
So we got Rydog now in the lead, but he's got 14 lap old hards. Vitinho's in second. He's got 7 lap old mediums, but he has a penalty. Same with Miles, he has a penalty. Hockey Knight on 7 lap old mediums, they're not going to be in the best of condition, but he has no penalties. Lawrence on 6 lap old softs, they're going to be very second hand, but he also has a penalty. I have absolutely not a clue who's going to win this race. Strap in, everyone. This is going to be an absolute blinding end to this race.
Yeah, Linkfelt is on 10 lap old medium, so he potentially could struggle, although doesn't have a penalty. I mean, ultimately, you know, if I was to be anybody in these 12 drivers, you know, 4 drivers DNFing, all the drivers looking to finish the race and potentially fight for that fastest lap point, those bottom 4. If I was to be anyone, I think I'd want to be Rydog. As a safety car announces, it's coming in this lap. So there will be 2 racing laps, Colin, which means 1 lap with DRS.
Yes, that's going to be crucial. The drivers are going to have 1 lap of DRS. Are they going to be able to use it well? Looking at going down the grid, I can see that Linfalk has next to no part of his left-hand side front wing, so expect to see him go backwards in the field as this is going to be an absolute blinder. When does Rydog go, Nick?
Yeah, he didn't get it right last time. He's got a second chance and he's gone now. And I wouldn't say he's got it right again because Vitinho is only quarter of a second behind. And look at this. Is Hockey Knight going to try and send it? No. Looks like the 2 McLarens have got a little bit of a jump on Linkfelt. The 2 McLarens are battling. There's contact between the 2 of them. They're friends in real life, Cole, as well.
Oh, they're not going to be happy with that because that's really cost them a chance, really, to attack the drivers ahead. Joe now out of DRS. He's just back into it, actually, as I say that. But look at Vitinho attacking Rydog. Can he do it? Oh, he locks his tyres a bit. So does Rydog.
Hockey Knight got ahead of Miles down that straight. I have to say the top 4 look like they've broken away slightly. Miles obviously on those old hard compounded tyre. No place to pass in this middle section of the track. All our drivers on the same straight as we head towards the bridge for the penultimate time. Lap 30 or 31. Who is going to win this race, Colin?
Well, it's advantage Rydog at this moment in time. Can Rydog hold on for dear life with Hockey Knight and Vitinho fast approaching? It's going to be so tight.
Max has retired. That's happened somewhere at the back of the field. Not too sure where. The 2 Red Bulls still going line astern. Linkfelt looks like he's struggling slightly on those old medium compounded tyres, as is Miles, but he's got Joe also on old medium. So I think these top 3 are going to be fighting for the win. Vitinho, the only one with a penalty. Who's that? Someone's had an incident. That's Shiesty going slow.
Oh, Shiesty now at the back of the grid now.
Here comes Vitinho down the inside of turn 1. He's going to lead potentially, and Hockey Knight is here to join the party. Makes contact and loses an end plate on the back of the Mercedes. Has those 15 laps, 16 lap old tyres given up the ghost? He just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Vitinho, but he's got to keep the Hockey Knight behind.
Yes, who feel as though it's advantage Hockey Knight now. Can he make it? Both drivers got DRS. He's not going to get many more opportunities to pass Rydog at this stage. It's going to be so tight. Vitinho, can he pull out 3 seconds? He's going to have the lap of his life here. But Hockey Knight does have that front wing damage. This is his last chance, Nick. Down here.
Isn't going to be able to. You can see that Joe loses a position to Quinn, so the 2 McLarens struggling there. Quinn actually stopped under that last safety car and put a new set of soft tyres on. So look at him moving through the field. Remember, you've got penalties to take into consideration as well. So Hockey Knight is going to have one more chance to get this race win. If not, Rydog is going to win on penalties, unless, of course, Vitinho can get that 3 second time penalty removed. The 2 Saubers are going side by side through turn 14. Looks like Linkfelt's got the advantage. Vitinho, here he comes. He looks like he's going to cross the line first, but Rydog is going to take his first win in the P3 tier. 2 corners to go. What a race this has been. Vitinho crosses the line first. Rydog takes the lead. Hockey Knight takes second place from Vitinho, who keeps third. Gaza jumps up to 4th position. Miles takes 5th.
What a result for Gaza. Another top 5 just outside the podium. I mean, what a race that was. Absolutely tremendous.
I'm out of breath, Cole. That was, for me, the race of the season. Potentially one of the races, the best races we've ever commentated on. And I know, a lot said about safety cars, Cole, but for me, that race was incredible because of those safety cars.
Yeah, that really made the race even more. It was already exciting, but having those late safety cars really changed the order quite dramatically. I mean, what a race. Absolutely. Oh, Lawrence, my daughter turned off my Wi-Fi mid-race. Oh, I don't think his daughter's going to be the most popular person in the household today.
Definitely not. Well, let's run through the order, and then we've got to quickly pick our Sim Racing Setups driver of the day before the P2 tier is waiting to go, Cole. So I'll let you quickly run through the order. Lingfelt, by the way, fastest lap inside the top 10. Outside the top 10, fastest lap goes to Quinn.
So we have in our winner Rydog, then Hockey Nye, Vitinho, Gazaman in 4th, Miles in 5th, Joe in 6th, Lawrence in 7th, Lynn Falcon 8th, Matthias 9th, Shiesty 10th, Quinn in 11th, Max in 12th. And then our DNF drivers, Mason, Proverb, Bolton and Fury Formula all retiring. That is your result from Singapore. Nick, driver of the day. I'll let you decide the first one.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to give it to Rydog, move down from the P2 tier, takes his first win here in the P3 tier. And my question to you, from 8th on the grid, Rydog, did you realistically think you had a chance to win that race? And how nervy were those last few laps, particularly behind both safety cars where you had to lead away and defend?
That's a great nomination. I'm actually going to go for Hockey Nye, who was so close to getting the victory, managed to get third. His first podium for One Hub, a great result. So my question for you,
world-class move as well.
Yeah, brilliant manoeuvre. So my question, Hockey, is how pleased were you to see that second safety car come out? Or I think it was the second, so that you could change your tyres and stay in that podium hunt.
Alrighty, 2 nominations. You can vote in the Discord later on next week. Big thanks to everyone joining us. We're going to quickly go. The P2 tier will be live very shortly with J. Cole and Quinn. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next week. Take care.